What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex, you watching the Ragin Ronin review. In this video, we're going to be doing my spoiler chat review for Captain America, the Winter Soldier. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, stop watching this video right now because we're going to be going into spoilerific territory. And you don't want to ruin the movie for yourself, so just stop watching this video if you haven't seen the movie yet. Now, if you want to know about my thoughts and feelings about the movie, then watch my spoiler-free review, which is also on this channel. Look out for that video, and I give it a score out of 10, and I don't talk about any spoilers at all. But at the end of the day, whether you watch my review or you don't, just go out and watch Captain America the Winter Soldier. It is a fantastic film. It's an excellent film. All the critics agree that it is great. So go out and watch this film, and then afterwards, come back to this video so we can all discuss about it. Alright? So anyways, let's start off with the spoiler chat. Now, I'm just gonna be talking about some random stuff about the movie. There's no particular order in which I'm gonna be discussing the topics. I just want to get into spoilerific territory about how I feel about the movie. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the humor in the movie. The comedy beats in the movie I felt were very, very well done, very well written, and very appropriate. I felt that a lot of the comedy beats in the film really helped the tone of the movie and also helped the character. For example, let me give you an example how I felt in another Marvel film, The Avengers, for example. A lot of the comic timing was just a little bit too much and maybe didn't really belong. For example, this scene where Tony Stark says that S.H.I.E.L.D. pilot is playing Galaga, and then the crowd erupts in laughter. The audience just finds it hysterical. But honestly, did that scene really need to be there? I don't think so. That scene was really hilarious. I was laughing out loud. But whether you delete that scene or keep it in, it's still the same movie. So a lot of the humor in Captain America the Winter Soldier is not like that. For example, when Steve Rogers, he opens up his notepad and writes down the things that he has to do and check out. You see the list of the things he has to do. It's very funny, but it works. It works because it affects how we feel about his character. We're starting to learn more about his character, and it really tells you, gives you a bigger picture about the story. He's dealing with living in the modern world today, so there's a lot of comedy in the movie that really, really works and actually affects the movie, the film as a whole. So that's why I feel that the comedy beats are very appropriate when compared to the Avengers. Now let's talk about the action in this movie, and a lot of the action was driven through some really awesome one-to-one fights, and it's hand-to-hand combat actually. And when we first saw Captain America go onto that ship, which was boarded by pirates led by Batroc the Leaper, played by GSP, I felt that was an amazing opening sequence which really introduced Captain America as a character. We've seen his evolution as an operative because he is so physically capable of doing so many different things for his job, his duty as Captain America. You see him doing parkour, you see him doing all kinds of acrobatic stuff, and his fight training is so intense. You see a lot of MMA work, he's doing a lot of really, really skilled hand-to-hand combat, and on top of that, the way he handles his shield is absolutely top-notch. I mean, it was great when we saw him handle it in the first Avengers, but he does it so much more in this one, and that entire pirate ship sequence is just a great introduction to his character. So really, really well done. And when he fights GSP, I just felt that, okay, this, in my opinion, is the director's way of telling us that this is how the action's going to be like from now on. This scene sets the bar for the way the action's going to be for the rest of the movie, and then it's going to get progressively better and better and better and better. And I was so right about that because when he meets the Winter Soldier for the first time, all the hits are just boom, hard hitting, man. We really feel the hits and the elbows and the knees. Oh my god, it's awesome. So the Winter Soldier is definitely a formidable opponent, and I've just felt that every single time he's on screen, he shines. And man, oh man. When he uses his metal arm and he punches Captain America's vibranium shield and then Captain America goes, you know that is like a really, really like physically felt impact. And it's so awesome. Oh my god, that was awesome. Now, speaking of the action sequences, Nick Fury handled himself pretty well, didn't he? I mean, that chase sequence was intense, okay? But it was actually a Nick Fury solo action sequence, which he handled on his own without the help of any other SHIELD agents or other Avengers team members. So very, very cool. I didn't expect to see any of that. I mean, I expected to see a car chase sequence, but I didn't feel that Nick Fury was like so like he knows how to handle himself as an operative. So man, that was really, really, really cool. And man, very, very great sequence. Now, I really, really loved Falcon as both a character and as a spectacle. You know what I'm saying? As a hero, he's awesome. As a character, he's also awesome, like as Sam Wilson, because he's just a very charming and innocent, he's just a nice guy, you know what I'm saying? But I would have loved to see more Falcon. I felt that Falcon got a good amount of screen time, but I felt that he just wasn't utilized enough. And I understand he's a pararescue jumper, okay? He's there to rescue people, he's there to provide aerial support, but that's about it. All he was really doing in Captain America the Winter Soldier was really just distracting bad guys from Captain America. He was flying around, and for the rest of his action sequences, he was just really evading projectiles that were shot at him. That's all he was doing, and it made for some really great flying sequences. I thought they were great, but what's really weak about his character is his weapon system. He has these great wings, but his weapon system just consists of these machine gun pistols. And I feel that unless your target is human, then you're not going to really do a whole lot, especially when one of those jets is going after him. I felt that the machine gun pistols don't really do a lot of damage. So the weapon systems isn't really that great, but he is great for aerial support in terms of outmaneuvering projectiles. But anyways, I would have loved to see another sequence with Falcon. That would have been great. Moving on, we got to talk about Maria Hill. I felt that Maria Hill is a character I need to talk about because I think that most people will overlook her character simply because of who she is. I felt that she is a stronger female role than Black Widow. Yes, Black Widow has a lot of screen time. Black Widow does a lot of physical stuff. She has a lot of fighting sequences in the movie. But Maria Hill, something about her performance by Kobe Smulders just makes me feel that she's a tough chick. She's one tough chick just from her voice alone. The way she commands and the way she just projects her voice, she's just way more believable. I don't know what it is. I find her way more believable than Scarlett Johansson playing Black Widow. Black Widow's action sequences are a lot of fun to watch, but that's all they are. I don't think that Scarlett Johansson she plays the role good enough. I don't know what it is. She's not firm like Maria Hill. When I say firm, I don't mean physically firm. I'm talking about her voice, the way she projects her voice, the way she emotes, the way she does her dialogue. I feel that Maria Hill just does a better job. It's way more believable. All right. So, anyways, I want to see more of Maria Hill in Avengers 2. I think she's pretty kick-ass. Anyways, one thing about Black Widow that I really, really enjoyed. Okay, actually, the one thing that I felt was very redeeming about Black Widow was when she was pretending to be disguising herself as an older woman, okay, in Alexander Pierce's conference room, and then suddenly she's kicking ass and boom, 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 and then that sequence was great, okay? That was like a crowd-pleasing sequence, you know what I'm saying? That was excellent. And so that was when she totally won me over, all right? And she was doing kung fu, and I was like, what the heck? That was so cool. Anyways, let's talk about the Winter Soldier, okay? I felt that the Winter Soldier needed more exposition. I wish there was more of that inner conflict that the Winter Soldier has in trying to discover his own identity, because the Winter Soldier is a very scary character. He does a lot of damage, and you definitely don't want to be around him when he's around, and that itself makes him a very strong character. But I know he has a lot of depth to him. He is a character with a lot of depth, but we don't get to see a whole lot of that simply because he pretty much plays like the villain in the movie. He is the villain, but while he's not the main villain, he is the villain in the movie. And I just felt that you know, I would love to see more of that inner struggle to where he asks himself, is he doing the right thing? And I think that that would have given his character more depth. All right. Anyways, speaking of the things that I felt could have been done better, let's talk about something I mentioned in the previous spoiler-free review, where I said that the editing could have been better. Now, I'm not talking about editing in terms of like it was really choppy editing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how they edit scenes, and that is, for example, in the pirate ship scene, the GSP and Batroc the Leaper and Captain America were fighting, and then he gets away. Batroc gets away, and then we're on to the next scene. We're suddenly in Washington, D.C. Like, what happened to the rest of that? Isn't there a scene where he's supposed to get captured? Technically speaking, he's supposed to get captured considering there's nowhere else to go. And then eventually we see him captured and interrogated. So, you know what? There's like a whole scene missing. And another scene, or rather two scenes, that I felt could have been edited better was when Nick Fury was pinned down in his car, and then he pulls out this device, okay, which is the size of a TV remote, and then the next shot is that we see inside the car, and then there's this really deep tunnel that's been drilled through using that TV remote device. I think that, I mean, we're supposed to believe that TV remote sized device can drill holes like that? We're supposed to believe that? I mean, sure, I believe it because, you know, it's a movie and he's a skilled agent with all these cool gadgets. But they should have at least showed that scene, you know, so that, you know, we understand what happened. So, and the same thing happens with when Maria Hill rescues Black Widow, Falcon, and Steve Rogers. She uses that exact same device, and then suddenly the next scene is that we're in Maria Hill's van. There seems to be like a whole sequence that was cut out from the movie, which I felt that if it was included, it wouldn't make me feel, oh, what the hell? Did I miss something? Anyways, that was kind of crazy. Now, with regards to the story, I gotta tell you something, but I gotta tell you my thoughts about how I feel about the whole twist, where Hydra was working inside S.H.I.E.L.D. all along. When that part of the plot was revealed, I was like, what the F? Are you serious? Like, are you crazy? Like, that's a seriously going on? I mean, I honestly didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. I felt that it was not very believable at first because they had like guys like the Senator, who we saw in Iron Man 2, and Jasper Sitwell, who was in I forget which of the previous Marvel films, but he's a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. We've seen this character as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent essentially, he's a good guy, and you're telling me that he's now a Hydra agent? He says, "Hail Hydra?" You know, are you serious? That is so crazy. I mean, it's such a crazy twist. I mean, I feel it's very far-fetched. But as the movie progressed, I believed it. Okay, it worked. As the movie progressed, it worked. Okay, it seemed more and more plausible simply because the way the Russo brothers handled the story was that they wanted to reflect today's the way things are working in America today, and that is to have more freedom. We have to give up our privacy, all right, and security, right? Because like there's always people spying on us, right? And it has a very profound message in this movie, Captain America: Winter Soldier, and that is, how much of that freedom are you willing to give? If killing one person means saving the lives of 1,000, how many of that one person are you going to kill to save maybe 100,000 or maybe 1,000,000? When does the killing stop? All right? Essentially, Captain America said it. He said, this isn't freedom, this is fear. And this is kind of what the country is living through today in the real world. And that is, you know, there are NSA guys tapping your phones right now, and there's cameras everywhere. There's satellite surveillance which can see your exact move at this time, and that's kind of like what Hydra is. It's I guess it's the NSA. I mean, the bad guys are really, you know, from within. So, you know, I understand it's a comic book movie, but I love that they put a modern spin on a comic book movie which relates to the issues that are going on today. I mean, it made it feel very, very real. It's a very profound message, and I think it works, all right? Now, okay, here's another thing I want to talk about. So let me get this straight, okay? Sharon Carter, who's also known as Agent 13, is Peggy Carter's niece? Is that right? Or am I totally wrong with that? I mean, is that right? So you're saying that Steve Rogers could have had like a tiny, you know, romance, like a thing going on in his head that he could possibly be interested in Peggy Carter's niece? when he was kind of like interested in Peggy Carter? That's kind of like freakish, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, okay. I'll be completely honest. I was a little bit lost at the very beginning, like the first hour of the film, in terms of the story, like the actual story of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, simply because, okay, this pirate ship had Jasper Sitwell in it, who is supposedly a SHIELD agent, okay, and it had all these other guys who are good guys, right, and they're captured by Batroc the Leaper, who works for Hydra, right, and well, who set all that up? Who's the mastermind behind that pirate operation? All right, I want to know who set it up, because you know, Black Widow has her own agenda. She wanted to extract information from the ship onto her USB drive, which was ordered by Nick Fury, and I'm just thinking, who set all that up? I mean, who's responsible for all of that? I didn't really get that. So was the whole thing a setup? Like, if it is, then who set it up? Anyways, I'm still a little bit lost in that department. I mean, the rest of the movie makes sense, but like that particular section was just a little bit like, they kind of lost me there. All right, now the next thing I want to talk about is this secret bunker. Okay, when Steve Rogers and Natasha Romanoff, they go into the old military training grounds, they find a bunker, and they go just levels and levels below underground, below sea level, okay, to uncover the secret about SHIELD, and that Hydra's living, I mean, that, you know, growing within the ranks of SHIELD, okay. Then later on, these SHIELD jets just totally bomb the place to smithereens, okay. So right afterwards, Steve Rogers, I mean, Captain America, he climbs out. He just like moves over a few rocks and some rubbles and concrete slabs, and he climbs out of that. Let's not forget that there are levels and levels and levels and levels below sea level. And he just managed to just lift over a panel of concrete, and then he's out of there. I mean, doesn't he have to do some serious climbing, considering he pulled out a grate from the ground and then went even lower? So that's something that I felt was like, you know, we're talking about physics and geography here, all right? Anyways, I mean, that was just, like, there's some attention to detail that could have been improved. Anyways, that's all I gotta say in this movie. These things that I've talked about do not affect my overall score of the film. I'm still giving this movie a 9.5 out of 10, mainly because it was an excellent and awesome film. Very engaging, very action-packed, and very entertaining. Great characters, great story, well written, and just full of action. 9.5 out of 10. A lot of the stuff that I've really talked about, which might sound negative, does not affect how I feel about the movie as a whole. I just have a bunch of questions, and I felt that some things could have been improved. But other than that, it's still a great movie. Anyways, I've talked about a lot of stuff. If you feel like you want to comment on any of the stuff I've talked about or answer any of my questions, let me know in the comments section below. Anyways, why don't you give me a score out of 10 for the movie, and let me know if there's anything you felt could have been improved for the film. Alright, that's all I gotta say in this video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, @RaginNation. Check out my photos on Instagram, @The Ragin Nation. I'll see you next time. Peace. Skull in the first Avenger wasn't quite the villain that Captain America fans deserved. I understand why they had to put Red Skull in